my channel. I'm Sharon and this is Fun with Cross Stitch. Thank you all for coming back and seeing what I have to show you today. I really appreciate each and every one of you and love reading all your comments. Thank you so much for coming back. I'd like to welcome all my new viewers and subscribers. Thank you for popping along and just see what I have to show you. I hope you enjoy what I show you and hope you keep coming back to watch again. If you haven't subscribed, hit that little subscribe button, hit the little bell, and then you'll know when I put up more videos. Then you won't miss any. I also have a Ko-fi link down below, so if you'd like to support my channel and help me with my supplies and framing and things like that for my whips and my projects, feel free, but not obligated. But thank you very much if you do. Today is Wednesday the 15th of March 2023. This is floss tube number 36 and it's a floss tube about cross stitch mainly, but I do some knitting and crochet, and I do have knitting and crochet to show you at the end today, which not much but just a little bit of an update. I've got a little bit of knitting haul. I don't have any cross stitch haul. I've been pretty good there. As you can see, Jelly Belly's in the back. We haven't given him to Jalen yet, but he looks quite comfortable sitting on the sewing machine there. I hope everyone is well and safe and keeping out of the weather, whether it's hot or whether it's cold. I know over in the UK they're getting a lot of snow, which would be lovely. I'd love to be near the snow, it'd be nice. But maybe they don't think it's nice if they get it all the time, but for someone that doesn't get snow, it would be nice. It's been pretty warm here in Queensland. This week is supposed to still reach the 36 degrees where I am. So summer's supposed to be gone, but don't know when. Just not this week anyway. So I've got the fan on, as you can probably see the reflection. I've tried to do the camera so that the light is not too bad. So hopefully it's okay. And we might just get on with it. I've done 7 projects this week, so we'll see how we go. In total I've done 10,081 stitches for the fortnight, and we'll do the wheel at the end to see what I'm going to be stitching on. Now with the groups that I'm in, they're switching it around a bit. I'm doing the road trip, but at the moment there's another little challenge coming, so I'll be switching up a few different projects to get that one done in the next 5 days, so that'll be all right. So I'll spin the wheel and see what comes up on there, but I need all whips that are on Pattern Keeper for this one, so that I don't have to count 700 stitches per whip because the 200 and that's fine. I don't mind doing the little ones, but I don't fancy counting 700. I also had a question about how I start my heights and my big projects. Now I did answer the question in a message to this lady. I can't think of your name, I'm very sorry. I should have looked it up before I started, but things have just been hectic and I just thought, oh, I've got to get in there and get this video done so it'll take all day to upload because I'm not going out today. Yeah, she's a new stitcher and wanted to know how she knew from the beginning of the pattern when the first row ends. And what I did with my first pattern, when I was new to cross stitch, I had no idea what to do. I had no one to ask. So what I did, I looked at the top of the chart and it's got the number of stitches going across. So I set it out on the table from 0 to whatever the number was, say 650, and then that way it's 650 across. And then when you look at, say, page 5, it'll come back to 0 again. Yeah, that's right. So then you know you're starting on the next page. That's the way I work it out. I just set it out on the table. And when I'm counting for fabric, if I'm using gridded fabric, then I don't measure. I just count by the squares, because the 10 by 10 blocks. So you just count over how many stitches you need in the blocks, and then I normally do an extra 3 or 4 blocks either side at top and bottom. That's how I work out my big ones. If I'm doing ungridded fabric, then I will count it out on gridded fabric, put the gridded fabric over the top of the non-gridded fabric, and then cut it that way. And that way you always get it right. But because I've been using non-gridded lately, I haven't been using much gridded, and I haven't got gridded fabric that's big enough to do that. I have been measuring it, and where I'm not 100% sure and I want to make sure I've got it right, that's why I've been starting in the middle lately. But I'll start in the middle, then I work my way to the bottom. Like I'll do a bit in the middle to outline, so you know where you're up to, you know which way is up, which way is down, and then eventually I work to the bottom, and then I like to work up. Now the only reason I do that is because I find my stitches lay neater if I'm working from the bottom of the chart working up, because when I stitch I do a full cross, but I always go from the top right to the bottom left. I don't go from the bottom to the top. But if I've got to work down the chart for a few stitches or so, then okay, video stopped, hang on a minute. If I've got to go down the chart for a reason, then I will do my stitches from the bottom to the top. But I prefer to do them from the top to the bottom, if that makes sense. But I like to do my chart from bottom to top, but my stitches from top to bottom. When I first started Toy Shop, I didn't know that at that time, so I've started up in the top left corner. But I've done 2 rows across the top, and now I'm going down the left side. So I'll be going straight down to the bottom and then working my way up the way I like it. It's only my preference. Not everybody does it the same way. A lot of people like to start in the left corner or the right corner and work down, but that's my preference. Everyone's got their own ways of doing things, and once you get into cross stitch a bit more, you will find your own way of doing things and things that work for you. So I hope that helps and helps you get on with your cross stitch, and hopefully you do well. You will. Hopefully this video is all connected, because it said that it cut out for a phone call, but we'll see. That was hubby ringing. I'll bring him back. Okay, let's get into these whips. Now I've got 7 whips to show you today. And I'm really not prepared. Let me find Dark Jungle for you. Talk among yourself for a second. I am so sorry, but thought I was prepared. Well, semi-prepared. I did have them on the top after all. Alright, the first one I'm going to show you is Dark Jungle, Temple and Tigers. This one is Heaven and Earth design, and it's Ciro Marchetti. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. There's been so many different ways of pronouncing his name, but we'll go with that. Now I've been working in the bottom corner. I think the last time you've seen it, I had the red flower done. Well, I've started on the purple one because I want to get to the tiger's face. But I'm not sure whether I'll do the purple flower at the tiger, or the purple, do these other 2 flowers and then do him. I'm not sure yet. We will see. This one I got 1001 stitch. Now I got the odd one. I will put before pictures up so you can see what it was like before. This is on 1.68%, and this is where we are on this one. So I got a bit more of the greenery done down here, and what you can see in the purple flower done. I think I've lost my needle. Oh no, it's on the back. But see, I've started in the bottom because I like to work up. So this one I did 1001 stitch, odd 1 stitch. If I had realised, then I wouldn't have done the odd one, but I think that finished off the purple thread, or finished off that colour, that symbol, because in this flower I'm doing symbol by symbol in the one flower. That's the way I did the red one, and then you could just see it come together that way. So that was that one. This one is in a bag that I made myself. It fits 11 by 17 Q-snap, and they are for sale if anyone is interested. Alright, next one. This is one you haven't seen for a little while. I want to, every time I work on them I think, oh, wish I could do more on that one, wish I could do more on that one, but you can only do what you can do, can't you? This one is the Hubble Bubble by Lisa Parker, another Heaven and Earth design. Now I've been working on the bottom, I've made it right to the other side. I believe there is a sale going for Lisa Parker. I seen that the other day, so I think that's still going. I might put this one in there. Now this one I have done 1,898 stitches, and I'm on 15.30%. And here we are with this one. Now I think I've worked up the bottom here, because I did this one the Thursday after my last video, so it's been a while since I worked on it. Excuse the creases, but I'm pretty sure I worked up here, and I've worked in the belly. I know I worked in the belly because there's not so many gaps in there now, but I was close to the 2,000 on this one. This one's going to take a while, but I'm loving it. Can't wait to get back to it. As you all know, I'm doing no new starts this year, so I've set my goals, but next year will be a different story. This is in another bag that I've made myself, bumblebees. Same on the back. If anyone is in my Facebook group, there is bags in there for sale, and I have shown some more fabric a couple of videos ago. So if anyone's interested in any more bags, just reach out and I can show you what we have. And if there's any specific material that you would like, let me know and I can source it. Most of the time I've been able to get them. 99% of the time I can get what people ask for. So if you need anything, or there's a certain one that you'd like, just let me know and we'll see how we go. Okay, this one is Game of Swans. It's a long dog sampler. And this is what this one's going to look like. Now this one I started in the middle. Oh, those other two were done on 18 count Aida, and they're all 2/1 full cross, and so far all this year all my projects are done on Aida. If I forget to mention it, they're all Aida. Next year I want to try Lugana and even weave. I do have some Lugana because next year I'm thinking of doing a chatelaine, so I'm not sure what fabric to use for that. If you've got any suggestions, let me know. I know they have a lot of specialty stitches and a lot of beads in that one. Now I've never done one before, so it's going to be all a challenge. So if there's a certain material that is best to use, except for linen, I don't like to work on linen. But if there's a certain material, whether it be Aida, whether it be Lugana, if you could just let me know, and that way I can source the right material. I don't want to get started and then realise, oh, I should have used this material instead. Okay, so this one is Game of Swans. Now I started in the middle on this one, and I've done the 2 swans and I've sort of worked my way down. So we'll see how we go. Now this one I did 1,195 stitches and I'm on 32.12%. And here we are with this one. Now this time I had the corners in here, so I've worked all this down the bottom. I had the middle one, so between the big bases I've done all this in the middle here and all this on this side here. So when I pick this one up again, I'm going to finish filling in what's in here, and because I've got the Q-snap where it is, I should be able to get the bottom done before I move it. We will see. If not, I'll just move it so I can get the bottom done. So we'll see how we go. But that one I did 1,195 stitches, and I'm on 32.12%. And Tiger's just decided to come in. This is another bag that I made myself. Butterflies. What are you after, Tiger? He's found something. I think a gecko might have come in. Okay. All right. The next one. Yeah, I think it's a gecko. Okay. The next one is Stargazer. Now it's mirabella. This was what it's supposed to look like. But if you've been following me, I'm not doing it in those colours. They're very nice, just not my taste. So I'm doing mine on a navy blue, but I'm doing them in the green and the orange. And I just love the way the colours go together, better than the other ones, like in my opinion. Everybody's got their own opinion, but this is just what I like. This is my preference. Now I counted some stitches. I didn't count them all. The ones that I did count, I did 500 stitches because I had to do a few small challenges. So I counted the small ones. Like I said, I don't mind counting the small ones, but I mean, that's 2 or 3 different challenges. I don't want to count the 700 or 1,000 for a challenge, so don't like that idea. So here we are. And she just seems to pop on the blue. So I worked down here. I finished the ribbons on the side here and filled in the gaps. And then I just started and coming around up here. Now I started in the middle and I worked my way up so I could get her face done. And then what I do is I work down a little bit to where that symbol ends, and then I double back up, so I'm working up. So I've worked down to the ribbon and then I work my way back up. So this one I just done the ribbons down the side and the gaps, come down here, and then I'm working this one up. So I work this one all the way up, if that makes sense. But that's the way I do it. So I'm loving that one. Can't wait to get more of her done. And I know you hear me say that all the time, but if you didn't love your whips, you wouldn't be doing them, I guess. But it's the same every time you pick one up. If I didn't spin the wheel, some of them I might not pick up as often as what I do. But with spinning the wheel, it sort of gets me more accountable for what I'm doing. What are you after, Tiger? Oh, I think it's gone in the wardrobe. You can't find it. You'll never find it there. My next one is Tigers by Artecy. Now I started in the middle. I started on his mouth and worked my way up to his nose. And on this one in the fortnight, I did 2,625 stitches. This one is on 10.21%. And I've really enjoyed doing this one, again, like always. And I've got 2 eyes in there now. So what I did is I finished his nose, and I've done most of this brown of his nose up here. I did a stripe around the side here and got his 2 eyes started. So when I pick this one back up again, I'll probably move it down a bit, and then so I can do the top of his head. The worst thing is though, I should have done it on coloured fabric, because in the background it's a lot of grey, whereas I've got white, so I've got to fill that in. But I don't know if I'll do it the grey or I'm not sure. A nice blue would be nice because that way it looks like they're outside and that's the sky. But I'm not sure yet. We'll see. That's a long way off first. Get some more of the tiger done. But loving the way that one's coming up. He can watch me work now. Tiger still hasn't got the it's either a gecko or a lizard's got in. I know he sits at the front door looking at the lizards outside because he can't get out. I don't let him out. He's an inside cat only. Okay, 2 to go. My next one is Map of Australia by Artecy. This is one favourite of some. I know there's a few people doing this one. Judy from Aussie in a Kiwi World was doing it. Now I've done a lot over this side. I've done up to the Opera House. I've done the rock in the middle. I haven't done the Ayers rock, but the rock underneath it. And then I've come along this side. Now I've made my way to the edge of the map. Yeah, made myself to the edge of the map. I haven't got to the crocodile yet, but that's next after I just finish this little corner a bit more. Now on this one I did 1,854 stitches and I'm on 45.51%. This is my second closest to a finish. This one I would like to have a finish for this year. We will see how we go. With the way the challenges are going, all my challenges are in the 2,000, 3,000s at the moment. Well, most of them. So that's good because I do, if my challenge is 3,500 for instance, I normally do that all on one project. So that's a big chunk. This one I had a challenge of 1,500 I think it was. Tiger. Opening the wardrobe. Yeah, so that's how I do it. If it's a big challenge, I do it all in the one. So I moved the Q snap. So I filled in this little guy. Not sure what he used, but oh, it looks like a koala. Okay, I've done the flower and I've done just started the little animal this side, and then there's another flower to go there, and I'm pretty sure the crocodile comes in here. So that's next on the list. But I thought I'd work my way over and then work up and then go across, and I will do over this side while I've got the Q snap where it is. He's officially opened the wardrobe now. He just got his claw on the bottom and clunk. Yeah, so this one is 45.51%. We will see where we get to by June, and then by June I'll know if I'm going to be finishing it. If I'm not at least on 60% by June, then I don't think I'll get a finish unless I really vamp it up once Warmth of Home's finished. Warmth of Home gets a lot at the moment, well, depending on the challenge, because I want to get that one done this year. Well, it will be done this year. And the last one is Warmth of Home. Now I had to move the Q snap. Now I've done all this side. This side is all completed, and I'm doing this side now. I've done the bottom. I did a stitch with me with the bottom and starting on his foot. Now I've nearly finished that foot. I'm in the middle of a big challenge of 3,500 stitches, but then I've had to stop that challenge to do a different challenge because this one only lasted 5 days. Otherwise I would have got both the paws finished. So this one will stay in my box to keep working on because I'm halfway through a challenge. I would have got it done, only we had a pop-up. But anyway, that's okay, I'll get back to it. Now this one I did 1,008 stitches yesterday, and I'm on 75.66%. So I'm on the home run, more or less. Now that is all I have to do. So if you put that all the way up there, that's it. Just in there is all I have left to go. Now I've been working on his paw. My last stitch with me, I had one paw pad done. So since then I've got all this paw. There's a few ninja stitches in there, as you can see, which is what I was filling in. Just underneath this Q snap here is only the blue bit. There's not much there. A couple of rows. But yeah, when I picked it up, I did nearly all this paw and nearly all this one here and his tail. So when I get this other challenge, when I pick it back up for the other challenge, which won't be till next week, I'll just keep working here, keep bringing it up, or do this part, do part of the leopard and go over, depending on where I pick a symbol down here and then take that wherever it takes me. I was thinking about colour completing. Now I'm nearly finished, but I don't know. I like the idea of colour completing because I haven't got a lot to go, but I also like the idea of seeing the picture come together quicker. So I'm undecided. I'll decide as I go along. But I was going to do, when I picked it up, I was just going to do all the 310, and that way all the outline of his body would be done. But then I started filling in the paw, and I thought, no, I want to see his paw finish, so I stayed down there. So I'm undecided, but I think I will just keep going up the way I'm going. It's a nice thought with having colour completions, but I'm really happy doing it this way. So after all, I mean, you've got to do what makes you happy, don't you? Yeah, so 75.66%. So this one is definitely going to be a finish. What are we now? March, April, May, June. Okay, I might set the goal to have it finished by June. Let's see how we go. As soon as this one is finished, then Australian map will step up and will be the next focus. Because this one, doesn't matter whether it gets spun up or not, this one gets done every fortnight. Like I said, I would have done more on it, only done 1,000 yesterday, but I got stopped in my tracks for the challenges. So that's all my whips. I'll show you my knitting. Now, as most of you know that's been here before, I did a blanket for our grandson, Jalen, and when his dad seen it, he says, I want one for my bed. So now I'm doing a queen size one in the same wool for his bed. I won't open it completely, but this is the way it's going to be. Oh, it's in stripes. So this is 1/3 of the blanket so far. I won't open it completely. I did put a picture on my last floss tube maybe, or the one before that, of it laying on the bed. But to do a queen size bed, I'm doing it in 3 sections. So this is the first section done, which took 13 balls. Now I started on the dark at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is for the middle piece, I'm going to start on the light. So it's going to be diagonal. So the dark one, when I put them together, the dark one will be here and the light one will be there. So this only needs three sections. So one section is complete. And I got more wool. So I got another 10 balls of the dark, 10 balls of the light. So once I get those done, I need to get another 6 balls, so another 3 of each. 10, 20, 26, yeah, another 3 of each colour. So I might get 10 of each colour and then do Jalen a couple of teddies, because you can see his teddy sitting there in the background. Yeah, so that's what I might do. So that's my knitting. That's the only haul I had. What I thought I would do while I've been waiting for hubby, because he's been coming home late. Work's been late, but you get that. He's an interstate truck driver, so nothing ever goes to plan out on the road. So while I've been upstairs, I thought I'd have a go at crochet. Just take up a little crochet pattern to do. So this is the one I've been working on. I've been working on the pig. Now I crocheted him. I haven't sewn him up yet, but I didn't realise I should have done 2 different coloured pinks until after I'd done it. obviously I didn't read the pattern properly, but I thought, well, it's my first try. I've never done the amigurumi before, so it's my first try, so I thought, well, that's okay. It's all right, it's only for me. So we'll see how we go. But there's his head. See, his ears and his snout should have been in a different colour, but that's okay. I'm happy with that. I think he's turned out all right for my very first go of amigurumi. There's his body. He's not sewn together, as you can see, but that's going to be his body. I've just got to do his sash that, or his strap that goes across. So I've done those two. There's his arms, so they're done. They were quite easy. And oh, there's his feet. So all I've got to do is fibre fill these and sew them on. So I thought that would be something just different to do. Yeah, just different to do. Once I now I know I can do them, I will make sure I do them in the right colour. But it didn't matter. I mean, for first go, it's okay. It was just something I wanted to try, and yeah, well, I don't think it's too bad. I'll see what it looks like when it's sewn together though, and see whether they look alright. I've still got Bluey to do for the grandkids, so that's another one I've got to get done. Alright, let's spin the wheel and see what we're going to be working on. Let me find my page. Oh, I hope that's not too loud. Okay, so my next floss tube he's still trying to get it. My next floss tube will be Wednesday the 29th. Okay, so what's today's date? The 15th? Okay. Unless we haven't got problems with the phone this time. Well, not yet. Let's get through it first. Okay, so full coverage. Well, there is only 4 left, so we know what we're going to be doing, but we'll spin them anyway. Okay, the first one is breaking free. You haven't seen that one for a little while. That will get at least 2,000 on it, because the challenges are pretty high, like I said. Next one, toy shop. Be glad to get some work into that one. Doing the wheel is good. Oh, that's the only 2 I had on there. Oh no. It's just very bright. Oh, it's very dull. Warmth of home, which is a given. And the old Christmas shop. Now I think doing the wheel is good, because that way I'm not having to choose, and it's choosing for me, and it just helps me work on them all. Alright, so non-full coverage, we have a variety. I Love You, well, that's by Randall Spangler. '16th Century, that one's that one is coming along really well. That one might be a finish by the end of the year, but we'll re-enter that in June and see how we go. Wild Menagerie. That one will be good if I have a small challenge, because that one's a paper chart. And Florentine, that's another one that I'll need to do a small one for. Either that, or I just don't count the stitches. So it just depending on what challenge I've got. Because sometimes when you do a shopping challenge, you have, say, 300, 100, 150. So I might be able to do a small one for that. Let me just see if I can. Christmas shop, toy shop, 16th century, I love you, breaking free. That's it. Okay, so this one is Breaking Free by another one by Ciro Marchetti. It might not be the way he's supposed to be pronounced, but that's why I've been doing it. This is the I Love You by Randall Spankler. So it'd be good to get his face done. This one is 16th century. Now I've done the middle. I think I've only got to do one more of these, and then these little corner ones, and then the middle section would be done. So that hasn't got a lot really. This is everyone's favourite toy shop. Now, like I said, I did across the top, and I'm coming down here. I'm at the register at the moment, so I haven't got a lot to go before I reach the bottom. I'd like to at least reach the bottom before the end of the year. That one started that in 2019, so that one needs to get a hurry on. This one's Yale Christmas shop. You know, I started in the middle pane because I wasn't sure. I wanted to make sure that my fabric was big enough, and I've done the dog's head. So what I'm doing with this one is working down the dog, and then I'll eventually work right to the bottom. Christmas shop, Breaking Free, 16th. Florentine is, let me see if I can find Florentine. This one is Florentine, it's a mirabella. Now I started on her arm and I'm just working down the stool, more or less. But that's one I haven't got on Pattern Keeper. And the other one was Menagerie. Here. That's the Wild Menagerie one. Now I'm starting on this line in the middle. Bit confused with the pattern, but I think it's because I'm not doing it on black, I'm doing it on blue, so the parts that are black I'm going to have to fill in, but that's okay. So that's where I'm at with those ones. So they're going to keep me very busy, and with the challenges that I've got at the moment. I've got to do 700 on 5 times, so I might do 700 on 5 different projects over the next couple of days, or I might do it on a couple of projects. I'm not sure yet until I start. But the first one I'll start on today will be Toy Shop. So I'll do 700, maybe 1400. I might do 2 on Toy Shop, 2 on Breaking Free, and 1 on Christmas Shop, for instance. I'm not sure. The Warmth of Home I know won't be worked on till next week now, but then I've got to finish my 3,500 challenge. But we get there, we get there. Takes a while, but we get there. I think that was all I had to say. Oh, I had one shout out. Lauren, Stitch by Loz. Now I watched her first video. I'm not sure if she's got another one out yet. I'm a bit behind with the floss tube watching, but she's very good at what she does. She loves her whips. She's very, very calm and very lovely to watch. She has a bird sitting on her shoulder, which is quite good to see. It'd be interesting to know whether the bird pecks at her whips as she's trying to do them, or is the bird only there because she done a floss tube? Is it there when she does her whips? I don't know. We'll have to ask that question. But that's it for me today. That's the 7 projects. My knitting, my crochet, my whips, my haul, the wheel. If you have any questions, just drop them down below. I'll put all the names of the whips that I've shown you today in the description box down below. Like I said, the coffee link will be down there as well if anyone wants to buy me a coffee to help me support this little business of mine. It all helps and greatly appreciated. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and that way you'll know when I put up another video if you hit the bell as well. Feel free to join the Fun with Cross Stitch Facebook group. I do post the bags for sale on there, and there is a challenge going for this month. I'm not sure if I put up next month or not yet. I'm a bit behind. No excuse, just a bit behind. Just life, I guess. You can also find me on Instagram at Fun with Cross Stitch. I do post up there with the bags as well, just in case anyone doesn't have the group or doesn't do Facebook, so they're on Instagram as well. I think that's about it for me today, and I will see you again on the 29th. Now I've done 2 flip throughs for Disney. I think there's one more I can do, and then I was going to do a stash dive of all my Heaven and Earth charts that I have to do. All I have to do is just get them all printed off, so I can do that. I didn't do a stitch with me last week as technical issues didn't allow it, so I couldn't do that one, but I'm hoping to do a stitch with me next Wednesday. So that will probably be on Warmth of Home again, because I want to get that one to a finish. That's my goal for this next few months, is to get that one to a finish. Okay, well, that's it for me, guys. Stay safe, stay well. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for everybody that comments. I do heart them all. I do comment on most of them that I see. There has been a few that I don't see when they first come through, so as soon as I see them, I will heart them and then answer them if I'm home. If I'm out, then I'll just heart them and get back to them when I get home. But other than that, if you have any questions about anything that I've showed you, about the bags, about the Christmas Advent bags that are available as well, just drop a note in the comments and we'll see how we go. Okay, thank you for watching, subscribing, listening, enjoying. I hope you did enjoy it. I will talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye for now.